There's pretty big news in the world of comb jellies. Comb jellies are these little invertebrates, also called ctenophora, that live in the deep sea. They do look somewhat similar to jellyfish, however, they are completely harmless, they don't sting, and they aren't even that closely related at all. And on October 7th, 2024, so a bit less than a month ago, there was a very interesting article published about these comb jellies. The article concerns this guy up here. Now, if you're not familiar with comb jellies, you might not know what's up with this. You may just think like, yeah, it's just a weird little guy, but this is actually two individual comb jellies that have fused together. Now, this is the first time this has ever been seen with an animal where two completely separate individuals just combine into the same individual, into one organism. Now, initially, the first one that this was discovered in happened on accident. The hypothesis was that two individuals kept in a tank for a completely different study somehow got injured, and then they just bumped into each other and fused together. The researchers doing the other study thought that this was pretty cool, so they decided to replicate it by intentionally giving the jellies very minor injuries and seeing what would happen. And there was a success rate of multiple other injured jellies fusing into, again, a single organism. Through multiple other tests, the scientists running this experiment determined that they fused pretty much everything, not just the physical bodies, but their nervous system and digestive system, and everything has completely become the same entity. Both halves of the now singular comb jelly respond to stimulus the same, and a experiment with fluorescent shrimp saw that the digestive system has also merged into one single digestive system. Now, the hypothesis as to why this has never been observed before is because it is very, very rare to happen in both the lab setting and in the wild. In the wild especially, because they are much, much more widespread in the wild than they would be in a captive tank situation, such as that happened in the lab. There has to be a very specific set of circumstances in order for this to happen. There has to be two jellies that are injured, but in a way that is still survival, and they have to both bump into each other at the exact time, under the exact circumstances, to be able to fuse before either of them heals or just dies. Comb jellies do have very good regenerative abilities, so in the wild, what would happen most likely is they would just regenerate before there is the possibility of fusing with another compatibly injured jelly. But regardless of how rare this is in actuality, it is a pretty interesting breakthrough, not only for the study of comb jellies themselves, but in general, because again, this has never ever been observed in another animal species ever. And I'm sure there will be a lot of interesting studies to come out of this discovery in the near future.